to the Palm Springs Public Library. My name is Vicki Jocelyn and I am here today to discuss and show you how to create a Terra Cotta Wind Chime. Our craft class was canceled due to COVID, so we're putting together your kits for the Terra Cotta Wind Chime, and so we're going to show you today the process of how to create this. So this is our Terra Cotta Wind Chime for dragonflies, butterflies, and ladybugs, and a little chime at the bottom. So the first thing we need to do is to show you what's in the craft kit. Your craft kit will come in a plastic bag, and it will have a set of instructions on how to assemble your kit and to paint it. It will have a set of patterns for your dragonflies, butterflies, and your ladybugs. You will have 3 terracotta pots. You will have green paint, black, white, blue, and red to finish off your terracotta pots. You will find 3 wood buttons, a string to assemble your pot, graphite paper, a small brush, a foam brush, and a jingle bell. In addition to this, you may need from your house some tape, a pair of scissors, and a pencil or a flare pen and some markers. Now, in order to get started, the first thing you want to do is to take your terracotta pots and to wipe them off. Take a damp rag and wipe off all 3 of your terracotta pots, because when these are created, there's a slight powder residue, and we want to get rid of that before we actually start our painting. So wipe the inside and the outside of all 3 pots before you start your painting. So once they are completely dry, then we're going to start assembling. So we've provided you with a light green paint, which is the Craft Smart Apple Tart Green that you see here. And there should be enough for all 3 in this little container that we'll be sending along with you. So here I've provided samples of the terracotta pots that are painted. Now, if you only do 1 coat, you can leave it like that if you like the rustic look. Part of the terracotta will show through the green paint. If you want a little bit more finished look, please put 2 coats on each of your pots. When you do 2 coats, please let the first one completely dry before you add a second one. Otherwise, what's going to happen is if you try putting a second one on right away, the terracotta is just still going to show through. So please, only 1 coat at a time, and let them dry in between. Once they are completely dry, then we need to put our patterns on. Now, if you don't want to put the patterns on, please feel free to use the paints that we've provided to paint your pots in any colors and variety that you would like. Flowers, you can hand do your own butterflies, whatever. Also, if you have these at home and you have your own paints, please feel free to paint them in any way you would like. If you decide to do that, please send me pictures. I would love to see what they look like. My email address is vjocelyn@vpsfl.org. So again, if you decide to paint these in some other way, do send me photos. I would love to see them. All right, so patterns. Our patterns are accomplished by, first of all, taking the sheet that we have provided and cutting out each of the designs. Your butterflies, your dragonflies, ladybugs. So cut each of these out. Once you have cut them out, cut them close to where the patterns are. This makes it easier to put onto the pot. So here you've got the ladybugs, and here are the words for each of them that have been cut down and so that they're easy to put on and to trace around. Now, there's two ways you can trace around the patterns. One way is to cut part of our graphite sheet down and then tape it to the pot that you see like this, and then place your pattern over the top of it. Now, the nice thing about the graphite paper, it makes a nice dark line that's easy to see. The disappointing part is you have to be careful when using this because it will smudge. If you do decide to use the graphite paper, it does leave a nice dark line so you can easily see the butterflies. And as you can see at the bottom there, there's a little bit of a smudge. Now, the nice thing is the graphite can be easily erased with a simple eraser. So you can take and just erase the graphite marks and they will come right off. Now, another way you can do the markings is to take a pencil, and maybe you did this when you were in grade school, is to create a rubbing on the back and put down some graphite this way. If you do decide to do this, all right, please do 2 layers, one way and one another way. That will put enough graphite down so that you can create a different pattern. Now, when you do this and you put it on, it will create a very light tracing that you see. Now, the nice thing about that is when you do your painting and stuff, you can still see what you're doing, but it's not real dark. So it's up to you which way you want to do it. Now, once you have that done, you can transfer your titles. And here I've taken a flare pen and traced over the words and letters for the dragonflies. Now, you can use black pens, you can use white markers, blue markers, black markers, gold markers, or any other color that you feel that you would like to make them. Now, when I do the painting, you can use the fine tip brush to paint all of the items that the patterns that you see. And then what I would do, instead of using the black to trace around each one, I would take a black marker and trace around each item, which is much easier than having to paint the patterns for the tracings. Now, once you have everything painted and ready to go, then you have to assemble it. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky. When you go to assemble it, you move the things out of the way here so you can see what I'm doing. You'll need your string, your jingle bell, and the 3 pots. First thing you want to do is to take and make sure there is a piece of tape at the end of each end of your string. This will allow it to be threaded through the holes much easier. And then take the scissors and cut your tape down a little bit. So here I've got, looks like a shoestring tip. I don't know if you can see it. There you go. And then once you have it on, twist it just a little bit so it creates a nice thin end like a shoestring. This will allow your twine here to go through the holes. Now, first thing you want to do is to take your twine and make a loop and then tie off your loop so that you create a place for your thing to hang. Now, when you do this, please tie whichever knot you would like, but ensure you tie one that won't slip. All right, so make sure you tie a knot that when your Terra Cotta Wind Chime is assembled, your knot won't slip. Once you've done that, tie a couple of more knots at the top. You can do just slip knots if you would like. and build up the knot that's at the bottom so it is a little bit larger than the hole in your pot. This is to ensure that it won't slip up or slip down from where you're at. So you can just do a couple of half slip knots and build up the knot. And as you see, the knot's a little bit larger than the hole. Now take your string and put it through the first pot and pull it through. Okay? And as you see, that hole is a little bit smaller than the knot that I have there. Once you've got that done, you're going to take one of the beads and slide it through the bead and pull it all the way through. And you want to center the bead all the way at the bottom of the pot. So there you see the bead all the way down. And now you want to take a half knot and walk it down the string until it gets all the way to the bead. So there you see I'm walking the knot all the way down until it is right on top of the bead. Once you've got the knot all the way there, tighten the knot down so that the bead won't slip off. There we are. So there you see the knot. It's all the way down to the bead. Now your second pot, you want to take it and again place the string through the hole. And this time when you put the second pot on, you want to adjust it so that the end of the pot is just on the inside of the larger pot. The reason you want that is right here is so that when it knocks back and forth, you will hear the wind chime. So just on the inside. Okay. So pull your string down till it's nice and tight, and then adjust your pot so it's laying just on the inside. Take the second bead and run it in through the bead. There we are. So we're going to take our second bead and place it all the way to the bottom of the second pot. Okay, there we go. And as you see there, it's all the way down on this bottom of the second pot. All right. Make sure it's all the way down. And your string is nice and tight. All right. So here we've got our main pot, our small pot, just on the inside of the lip, the bead on the inside, and now we need to put another knot in our string, and again, walk it down the string until it gets to the bead. Some people like to take a pin or something like that, and you can push the knot down using a pin. I don't know if you can see that, but you can, that'll keep it from closing, and you can walk it all the way down. I prefer to do it manually, but it's up to you. So another way you can do it is to hold the edge of the circle down and right on top of the bead, and make sure it gets all the way down. And then Tighten it down. And as you see, the second one is just on the inside of the lip of the first one. Now we do our third pot the same way. We put it through the end. Now the third one is a tiny hole, so you may have to work it in just a little bit. Pull it through, and again, place the end of your pot just on the inside of the lip of this medium-sized one. Then again, we're going to take and put our bead on. So run it through the hole. Sometimes you might have to twist it just a little bit. There we go. There's our last bead, and again, place it all the way on the inside of the pot, right at the bottom. Okay, tighten up everything. Make sure your string is nice and tight so that it is no slack in it. And then we're going to, again, create a loop or a knot and walk it down the string until it gets to the bead. And you can see it's getting all the way down, so keep working at it. Pull it tight and then check it. And as you see, mine is just a little too tight, so you have a choice. Either you can leave it like that, or you can loosen the knot just a little bit. Loosen the knot and drop it down just a little. So here I'm loosening the knot, and I'm going to move the knot down just a little bit on the string. Drop the knot down just a little. And then, as you see, we've dropped the last one down so that it is just on the inside of our last one. So the last thing we're going to put on is our jingle bell. Take your string, place the jingle bell right on the string, run it up, and then tie a knot at the length you want your jingle bell. It's totally up to you if you want a little bit longer standing out or a little bit shorter, it's up to you. And then tie another knot to hold it on. There we go. Cut the string. And there we've assembled our wind chime. Now, this wind chime is meant to be in a covered area, as it is. You can put it on a front porch, in a covered area. It should be just fine. However, if you do decide to put it out of doors, it will need a coating of a clear spray sealer. You can take and put a clear sealer of, there are many different sprays out there. And as you see here, this one has had a gloss spray put on it, and it is ready to be put out of doors. So depending upon what you want to do, with a little bit of time and patience, you can create a terracotta wind chime. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed creating your terracotta wind chime. Our next craft will be in October, which will be the butterflies on black and white. Hopefully by then I will see all of you in person, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you. Thank you very much for watching the video today, and good luck. And again, if you make your own terracotta wind chime and paint it up, send me pictures. I'd love to see them. So thank you from the Palm Springs Public Library. See you next time. Bye-bye.